Hey guys, Dr. Kresimir here, chiropractor from London, Ontario, Canada, helping people live extraordinary lives through the power of through the power of structural chiropractic care and life by design principles. On today's video, we're going to be talking about why you keep injuring or why you keep hurting your lower spine. Before we get to the video, please like, share, and subscribe. We need to get this information out to as many people as possible for the very simple fact that 80% of people, humans in the world, are going to have low back pain or a structural low back problem throughout their life. There is going to be some demonstrations throughout this video. More than anything, this is more of a don't do this type of video. I know there's lots of videos on this channel addressing the exercises that you should do, things that you should do, but this is one of those ones where it's, here's where you get into trouble. So do your best. And these are always the toughest, right? Because I'm asking you to change the way that you do things that you've always done throughout your whole life, which is very, very challenging. You know, and you can't out-train or out chiropractic or out strength train or out physiotherapy or out occupational therapy poor movement patterns, simply because the volume is, it's so slanted in one direction, meaning, okay, so you're coming for your spinal checkups, or you're going for your physiotherapy appointments, or you're going for your massage therapy appointments, or even your training sessions, right? So what are you training, 5 times a week? You are potentially, when we get into the video, you are potentially doing something, you know, hundreds of times a day that are contributing to poor mechanics. So let's go to the spine and let's start with the quick anatomy lesson. I'll try not to keep this boring. Do my best, okay? So you're looking, my spine sits like this. If I turn to the side, so you're looking at me like this, my spine sits like this. We're gonna be looking at the lower spine, which is L5, L4, L3, L2, L1. You'll see that in the spine, the way that the joints are positioned is your lower spine is where the majority of, so flexion and extension is this motion where you're flexing and you're extending. The majority of that comes from your lower spine. And your spine can do that reasonably well. The thing that your spine likes even better than moving is being braced. So it likes this position where it's stacked up evenly and the discs are providing comfort. But we move around a lot, and most of the time, it's not simply, especially with our lower spines concerned, it's not simply in this direction where it's flexion and extension. The other thing that starts to happen with most people is, you know, again, our spines, like I was saying, I'll try to move this down a little bit so you can see what I mean. So our spines like a limited amount of this motion. As we start to add weights though, right, what happens is when you're holding a load, you are compressing your spine, and the more compression or the more of a load you add on top of that, I'm totally brain farting here. The potential for injury increases because now you're carrying something. Not to mention, if you're carrying something that's further away like this, the amount of pressure on your low spine increases. And now add to that, not just carrying something, but turning and bending. So if we're looking at the absolute worst type of motion for your back, is every time where your spine is loaded, so you're carrying something, and then you are flexing forward, and then you're turning to the side. But here's the thing, think about how many times you do that during the day. You notice that your shoelace is untied. Nobody keeps their spine nice and neutral like this and then bends over to tie your shoelace. No. It's one of these, and then you're bending and you're twisting. If you go to reach for something, you know, most people don't get into this proper squat technique like this and then pick it up. Most of the time what happens is it's a bend and it's a twist, and then it's further away from your body, so there's just so much pressure on your lower spine. So what I'm asking you to do is do an audit. The first thing you need to do, especially if you keep hurting yourself, is to do an audit of the things that you are doing every single day, right? Do you have a physical job, or do you have a job where you're at a desk? If you have a physical job, then please look at the amount of times that you are putting yourself, and some of the people that we take care of in the practice, they're unloading trucks, they are movers, they work for lawn care companies, or they have a lawn care business, but also you garden, you cut the grass, you're outside, the weather is nice. You're literally putting your spine into compromised biomechanical positions many, many times during the day. To make matters even worse, most of us have extremely tight hips and ankles, which limit hip mobility. The way that your body is designed is your hips are ball and socket joints, which means that they move, or they're supposed to move, really, really well. So there's a big difference when you're lifting a load and you have hips that move properly. If I'm gonna lift like this, do you see how my spine is nice and straight? Remember I talked about at the beginning how those discs like to be stacked? They are more stacked in this position than they are if you can't squat in this position, right? Because if you're having trouble squatting and now you have to get on your toes to bend over to pick something over, you're far more unstable, and the force generated through your lower back is much, much higher. I know that's a lot of talking, but I really needed you to understand that there's a lot of stuff to understand. How about that? So here's the plan. Here's the takeaways from this video. Number one, do an audit of the things that you do every day and come up with some ideas of where you could be putting your spine in a compromised position. Number two, attached below is my 6-minute hip warm-up video. Watch the video, and at 6 minutes, add the 6 minutes to your morning and at night routine, because the more mobility you put into your hips, the less motion your spine needs to have. Okay, so there's a lot more steps, but start with those two. Leave me a comment and let me know how they're going. Hope you're having a great day, and look forward to talking to you soon.